Chris Ingham has come back with an absolute corker of a rant. Now, if you haven't seen yesterday's video about the liquidation of their company, the Ingham Family Limited, go back and watch that one because it has all the information you need to know. But Chris Ingham has decided, well, he's not happy. Let's face it, he's not happy, right? And he's rebuffed it. But first of all, we'll have to see what Sarah had to say, because what Sarah has to say goes a long way to show the mindset of the two of them. It kind of leans towards she ain't got a fucking clue. Let's be honest, she hasn't got a clue. So this comment was left on one of her social medias. Someone put, "I know it's normal, just she's very unlucky," and this reply to that was, "Not really. Their company has just filed for creditors liquidation, meaning they are insolvent and have reached a point of no viable financial recovery. Also multiple CCJs. That's not lucky, it's tragic." Now Sarah came back and she was not happy with that one, and she said, "Long, are you okay? Our business went into liquidation because we closed it." Actually, this sounds more like Chris than Sarah, to be fair. "Because we haven't traded for over a year in the UK as we moved our business to Dubai. Tell me you don't know how businesses work without telling me. Hilarious how you guys still think we're skint when we literally own a £750,000 home in the UK. Now, unless you own that house outright, that means nothing, right? All it means is you have a £750,000 debt. Also, it's not £750,000, it was £695,000 if I remember rightly. So we literally own a £750,000 home in the UK, are thriving in Dubai, and spend most of the year travelling. Nothing tragic about my life, love." So Sarah is not happy, and she's rebuffed it and said that they had closed it themselves because the business hadn't traded in over a year in the UK, because they moved the business to Dubai. That may bring with it a whole set of other problems if that is in fact the case, but it kind of says that Sarah doesn't know what she's talking about, because the business itself, the company, is into creditors liquidation, which means it is being liquidated under the guidance of the creditors, so the creditors can be repaid. The only reason you would do it in this way is because you can't afford to pay your creditors, and this is a way of getting money back and paying the creditors that way. If your company was as thriving as it is, as you claim it to be, then you wouldn't do it this way, because why not just pay your creditors? So Chris had to weigh in because he just couldn't let it go, could he? Now, he pinned this post on their most recent video, which is unrelated to any of this, by the way, and he pinned it just long enough for it to be screenshot, and then he deleted it. So he's put, "This is only directed at all the morons commenting stupid rubbish about one of our companies that we have in the UK. It's hilarious and stupid and moronic. Number one, for even paying attention to someone's company that you follow for malicious reasons. 2, none of you commenting understand a thing about how businesses work, clearly. Well, tell us, enlighten us, Christopher, because clearly we're not in the know. There are thousands of people commenting on Tattle and on my comments, and a lot of them have a lot more knowledge than, well, definitely I do. I've just got all my information really from researching, but there's lots of people that are just commenting that actually do know what they're talking about. So, you tell them, right? And you tell us exactly how businesses work. So to be clear, we put one of our companies into liquidation ourselves recently, right? So yeah, you had to do that. Now, you put it in, as I mentioned earlier, into a creditor's voluntary liquidation. That's a CVL, creditor's voluntary liquidation. That means that the only way of paying your creditors was to do it this way. You chose to do it this way so that you could pay your creditors. Yes, you chose to do it. Yes, you did it yourself, but you did it to pay your creditors. Now, if your business, your company was as solvent as you reckon it is, you wouldn't have done it this way, because this is causing your company a lot of problems, and it could end up with you being disqualified as directors. It could end up with you having to give up all your assets. It could end up with, well, basically the company is being investigated thoroughly by the liquidators, and then HMRC will do so as well. So you better hope that your books are up to scratch and that you have nothing to hide, which I doubt it somehow. But the bottom line here is, if your company didn't need to do it this way, they would not have done it this way, right? End of story. It doesn't lie. The documents don't lie. The official websites, the official listings don't lie. This is how you have chosen to liquidate your business, and yet you're claiming here that it's just normal business. It's definitely not. He goes on to say, it's a company that we haven't traded under for over a year. Guess why? Because we moved it to Dubai. Then you are trading under the company. You're trading as the Ingham family, right? You haven't closed the company down. So you have been trading, and this is a problem, because if you have moved your company to a Dubai company and you're trading there under the same business, same business model, the same business name, same company name as the one that you left behind in turmoil, then the creditors will not be happy with that. Right? The people who are not going to get their money back are not going to be happy that you've just taken all your business over to Dubai and fucked them off, right? To avoid paying them. That's not how you do business. That's not how you run a business. And the liquidators may actually look at that, the fact that you've done that and moved your business to Dubai to avoid having to pay creditors, and that could actually come back to you, because you think that by running away to Dubai, it's going to stop people coming after you for money. Now, HMRC, if you owe them money, and I don't doubt that you do, right, they're going to come after you to Dubai, and Dubai will allow them to do that because they have a treaty with the UK in order for this to happen. So you're not safe. You're not safe, and I feel like you're running scared. You put up this post because you are panicking. You're panicking because Sarah's had messages telling her about it, and Sarah doesn't know a thing about it, I suspect. And you're worrying, what are you going to tell her? How are you going to get yourself out of this one? You are scared. So he said, because we moved it to Dubai. Shock horror, I know. Nothing to do with it being non-viable. In fact, this company makes a high 6 figures plus a year and always has done. Right, I can't. Right, so this is a bit of a what's the word we use in business? An outright lie. That's right. It has to be a lie, because you know why I know it's a lie, right? You've been trading under the Ingham Family Limited now since 2017. That's 8 years, right? And you have told us yourself that in the lifetime of your business, in in the lifetime of your channel, right, you've made £1.9 million total, right, total. And if you then divide that by 8, how many is that for you people? All right, so I'll tell you what it is now. 1.9 million. All right, divide that by 8. That equates to £237,500 a year maximum if you divided it, right, equally. And that's not, that in itself is not high 6 figures a year, right, is it? What you're talking about is £900,000. That's not, this is not that at all. Also, add to that, right, you told us once, well, actually, no, sorry, your lovely wife, if I remember rightly, commented it in a group that you make 10k a month. That was back in the day when you were doing well, right? So yeah, there you go. 10k a month equals 120k a year. So when you say you make high 6 figures a year and always have done, that's not entirely the truth, is it? It's more like a lie. Now, back in the day, did you make a lot of money? Yes. You, like, back in 2017, you probably were earning, you know, at your peak, very high. Maybe you were, like, maybe one year you did make high 6 figures. I don't doubt that you probably did, but it's been going downhill since then. It's been going downhill year on year. Your finances have been going down and down and down. You have not always made high 6 figures a year. Maybe once. That's what I reckon. Once, maybe twice, if at a push, right? You know, in the height of the, you know, the allegations where everybody was focusing on you and still bringing in your income, you know. You're probably making a bit of money then too. But since then, it's just been going down and down and down. So when you say that you've been making high 6 figures a year always, that's not entirely the truth. In fact, it's not. It's just a lie. So he goes on to say, but we moved it away from the UK, so all the malicious weirdos out there that love nothing more than to stalk everything we do can't have access to us in that way anymore. But why do you so desperately not want people to see how much money you are making? Because you reckon that you're making a lot of money. In fact, I have seen you mention just how much money you do make. You show it off all the time. You show off that you're going to get a house on the Palm apparently, and you claim to all your potential victims that you own Dubai and that you have penthouses up there, and you know, lies clearly, but apparently it's true. But you don't want people to spy on you, and you want your privacy. You know, you did not afford any of your kids privacy, so you can't now spout that you want privacy. That's weird. That is the weird thing. So he goes on to say, liquidation is just something liquidation is just something you do when you have when you have a company that no longer trades. It's not really. It's not. It's not something to be shame attempted for, which if you knew anything about business, you would know. It's been liquidated for one reason only. We're never going to use it again in the UK. Nothing to do with anything else. The company is thriving better than ever here in Dubai, along with others that we own here. So Christ. Okay, so I have a question for you, Chris. You know when you say you're liquidating it, it's just what you do in business. Well, also what you do in business, even if you are closing it down, you file the accounts with Companies House. That's due. They're past due now. You file them, and you do accounts. You still have to do the accounts because the accounting period that is not accounted for on your accounts includes a period of time where you were trading in the UK, right? So you have to mention that on your accounting, and you're getting fined for not doing your accounts. I mean, if you'd paid that fine and reported your accounts, then that it would say that. It doesn't say that on your Companies House listing, unfortunately. Now, businesses don't tend to do what you're doing anyway. If they're closing down the business, they're winding it down, they want to liquidate it, right? There is a case for, I believe, you doing that, but it's another form of liquidation, not the one that you've chosen, right? It's a voluntary liquidation. And if you do it that way, then it's fine, right? The company just gets liquidated and we all move on. But what you have chosen to do is a creditor's voluntary liquidation, CVL, which means that you're doing it solely with the purpose of paying your creditors, right? So you may have chosen to do it. Yes, I agree, you have chosen to do it because that's the very definition of voluntary, but it's your only way of paying your creditors. Now, if your company was as thriving as you seem to think it is, then why haven't you paid your creditors? And it can't just be those ones that I've seen, the CCJs that you have listed against your name, £900 and £400. That's only £1,300. That's not a lot of money, right? Not for a thriving business that you have. So there must be a lot more, in my opinion, that haven't gone to court, that aren't under CCJs. I suspect that HMRC are one of those that are chasing you for money, because quite often that's the only thing that you're trying to get out of, I reckon, in my opinion, because you wouldn't give a damn about paying creditors back voluntarily or non-voluntarily, clearly. But yeah, so that's a lesson in business for you, Chris. So he finishes with, so run your mouths all you want. All you do is embarrass yourselves with your desperate and obsessive behaviours. So, unfortunately, it doesn't fly with any of us, right? All it is a desperate attempt to try and save face, because you would not say anything otherwise, right? There's so many things that are mentioned all the time, right? The MOT fiascos, right? Whenever you have an MOT issue and we all report on it and laugh about it and stuff like that, you never say anything. You don't say anything because you just laugh it off, whatever. But this is a company which you reckon doesn't exist anymore, you haven't traded under for ages, but yet you are so worried about it and so bothered by it that you have put out this post, when really it's not necessary, because it's drawing attention to it when you probably shouldn't, if you don't want your iFam to see, which is probably why you've deleted the post now, so the relevant people have managed to get their hands on it, and you don't want the iFam to see it, obviously. But it's not a good look for you, Chris. You just don't want, and I suspect that you just don't want people commenting shit to your wife about this, because she's none the wiser. She doesn't know anything, does she? Unless she does, of course. Maybe I'm giving her too much credit for being ignorant. Maybe she knows everything and is just playing dumb. Playing or playing? Playing dumb, playing, yeah. So, yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Chris, you can do too. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this subject again. Let me know what you think, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Give me a massive thumbs up if you've loved this video. I'll keep bringing you information about this situation as we get it. This is so fun for me.